Yo.
Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 166.
166.
Am I locked up? Fix my cam, Fluff.
No, you're fine. You look great.
Oh, okay. You should let me like that.
Oh, that was this. What?
Oh no, it's not doing that thing again.
The
Is it?
Discord thing? Oh my god! I swear to
Oh
God.
man, please don't do the thing. Can we get a GoFundMe for Fluff to get a new stream machine?
Yes, that's the problem.
How's it going, man? Happy Thursday. Happy
Thanks.
Thursday Eve.
Yeah,
Thursday Eve.
I'm good.
We had a pretty exciting day, which we'll get into in a little bit. There's a lot of stuff hit today.
A lot of stuff happening right now.
A lot of stuff happened today. Yeah, man, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
You got any non-gaming stuff you want to hit before we jump into it? Anything exciting happen in your life? Any motorcycle accidents or
no motorcycle accidents this week.
Okay.
Oh, I do
good.
need to say I will be. There's no podcast next week. I will be out of the country. I'm going to Puerto Rico for extended weekend.
Okay.
Puerto Rico.
What are you?
Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah. Nice, man.
Yeah.
Like a good
I got
time.
a friend that lives out there, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Awesome. Cool.
So no,
sounds amazing.
No 167 next week.
Yeah. What day is that? What do we got going on? Then we're gonna have. Man, it's holiday season already. Temperatures dropped. It went from being like super hot to cold all the time now.
That'll happen in spring and fall. Like
there was no
hot, cold.
Yeah, there was no nice this year. I felt like it went from like hot to just freezing.
Yeah,
you know? I don't like it, and it's already November. It's funny. Like after Halloween night, I'm laying on the couch, chilling with my daughter, and we were watching Ridiculousness or something, just hanging out. And I said, well, Halloween's over. I guess we're going to start getting Christmas commercials soon. And I swear to God, like 4 seconds later, the first Christmas commercial that I saw this year, it was like, I mean, the jingle bells and the fake snow and like everything. I'm just like, man, here we go. It's already Christmas, already holiday. So,
yeah.
Time goes by quick.
It does, man. It really does.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
So let's hit some polls.
Yeah. So 2 weeks or last week. I always say 2 weeks now because we like missed a couple weeks there. I don't know why. Last week we asked, what's your impression of Pee-wee Scourge thus far? Option 1, poggers. Option 2, needs serious work. Option 3, meh. Option 4, would rather play Diablo Immortal, which people only voted on because you encouraged them to. Obviously.
You think I skewed the vote with that? No.
I think you're skewing the vote every week, and I don't appreciate it.
I would just like to also point out this week that in order to make Fluff feel more comfortable on the podcast, I got my
good on you.
Yeah.
Is that really why, or you just had greasy hair?
Did you say I have hair? Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Thank you.
No, I don't influence the polls, man.
Okay. All right. So rank 1 was meh at 31.4% of the vote. Rank 2 was would rather play Diablo Immortal at 29.4% of the vote.
There we go. All right.
Rank 3 was poggers at 26.5% of the vote. And at 12.7% of the vote was needs serious work. Dead last.
Well, it means it's in a good place if they played it.
We'll get into my thoughts later. I played a pretty good chunk so far, and it's good and bad for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say we'll get into it.
We'll
start the PoE stuff. I'll ask those questions.
And then next week's question is actually Diablo related, so everybody can rejoice. I know people hate when it's not a Diablo related question. We definitely get less votes overall. But yeah, so new meta podcast question of the week. What has you the most hype for Diablo 3 Season 25? Option 1, wizard changes. Option 2, necro changes. Correct answer, by the way. Option 3, DH changes. Option 4, the new weapon / helmet gems. Go ahead and create that poll. Spam free
Not
boys.
saying anything. I don't want to influence this one.
Chat open. Cool.
So,
and we're gonna get into exactly all that stuff because I have been spending the last 3 hours on PTR, and they were, the thing that's kind of cool about the PTR patch notes, from what we saw, is like they really didn't give anything away, and so it kind of felt really weird today because for the first time in like 10 years, 2012, Diablo 3 came out.
Yeah.
Like a discovery was happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's pretty wild. It's not just like a set change. You're like, okay, well, how does this work? It's like, what does this item do? And like, how does this work? So
yeah. So there's definitely some stuff that they didn't give you in the notes.
Yeah.
And there was some discovery there. I don't know how I feel about that though. I feel like they're downplaying. I feel like it's a disservice to them because I think that the seasonal theme is a little bit cooler than they let it out to be in the patch notes. I think it's a little bit more of, than what they led in the patch notes, but
we'll get to that. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But let's see. So straight out of the gate here, we have, so people have left some feedback. I don't have anything like put up for this. Maybe like people are playing Diablo Immortal. I can just like watch Echo or somebody. Diablo Immortal. Almost yank someone's content. No one's playing. Weird. But yeah, so there's been like the overall feedback is it's pretty buggy so far. Like obviously the controller support, like people are like pogging out about, but the fact that it's like only 85% there, not 100% there. Some people like, ooh, like,
Don't you have your footage from the other week too? Maybe they take too long to pull up, but that way people won't get mad. But yeah, it would be really cool if the controller feedback was all the way there. I think it's a great addition. I think having the controller made it playable for me. Like it was night and day between doing the handheld, trying to play on the phone versus actually using the controller.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go back to it, but it really just makes it a console game at that point for me. I've spent more time trying to emulate Diablo Immortal than actually playing Diablo Immortal. I tested every single Android emulator in existence, I think, over the last couple days. BlueStacks has the most potential someday in the future, but you have to run it in like some legacy graphic mode to make it work, and then the graphics look like complete booty. So I couldn't play it like that. But they had direct controller support, so I could plug so first off, Diablo Immortal worked fantastic with the PlayStation 4 controller. I know that you said you had a hard time with your Xbox controller.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any trouble with PlayStation at all. I just paired my controller with the phone, and that's it. It was done. Boom. Easy mode. So that was really cool. And then with BlueStacks, it was able to do the same thing. Like with BlueStacks, I was able to just plug my controller into my PC, and it was like, boom, it was there. And all the controls worked in Diablo Immortal, just like on the phone. So that was awesome. But graphically didn't work. So, and then I ended up testing like 10 other emulators. There were some that could get the graphics to look a little bit better, but they didn't have direct controller support like BlueStacks. So then your controller didn't work properly. And so that sucked. So it ruined it. But once I got over all that, and I spent like 6 hours trying to emulate it, maybe even more. I don't know. I tried everything. Then I finally gave up and just started playing it on the little tiny ass phone screen, which I hated. And it was okay. Like the game was super playable with the controller. It was much more enjoyable. I think they just should port it to consoles, and
but then it's not a mobile game,
Well, but they port mobile games to consoles all the time. You can find a lot of mobile games that are actually ported to Xbox and PlayStation and Switch and stuff. So, so I don't see the big hit. It's just more money for Blizz to do. I mean, maybe it's a lot more work to support the 3 different versions. I don't know, but to me, it makes a lot of sense. And But there are examples of mobile games that are on both consoles. So
okay, yeah. I mean, my first impressions were kind of like I like definitely enjoyed leveling the Necro more than I did the Barb because it's a necromancer. I like just the theme of the Necro. I've always liked the theme.
Yeah, I
of the
thought
Necro.
it played better too. Yeah.
It was interesting to get like some of the new skills. I really wanted to like grind all the way up and like start getting legendaries to see how like the legendaries altered the skills because I really want to like give good feedback on the Necro since like it's basically the class I invented. So yeah, but my phone like won't fucking charge. Like it won't charge when it's not plugged into the official thing that they gave me in the package. I had to like use a thing. Like I'll show you.
That's weird. I didn't even use the one that they sent with me. I actually just set mine on. I have like a wireless charging and a Vection charger that you just set it down on and it charges it.
Yeah.
I have those for my iPhones, and so that obviously works on the Android too. But I don't charge and play at the same time. So like I've had a couple play sessions, and when the phone battery goes dead, I'm just done. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I throw it on the charger and then I'll pick it up tomorrow or something, you know?
Yeah. So I can plug this thing in because it's got the HDMI port.
Yeah, no, right.
And like a little USB-C. And so I plug in the USB-C, the official one, to this, and it's supposed to like charge it. But it's like, it just makes like an alert. It goes, it's like unplug immediately. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, maybe
like
your
someone said I could
like
go into the settings and like make unofficial one support. It's just like, oh my God, like fuck you, Samsung. Like your phone's, I don't know. It's a phone. Like stop making it trying to be like a PC.
It's honestly probably the small adapter that you have that's like not sending enough juice out or something stupid. But it's the problem is it's a phone. It's a phone. Like, and we don't, you know, like I'm trying to make it a PC game using emulators. I want it to be a console game with a controller. You know what I mean? Like I just don't want to play on the phone. I would really enjoy this game on Switch, on PlayStation, even on PC if we could emulate it. But when I have to play on the little ass screen, I hate it. I don't like it. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm not probably going to. I think it's cool if I were out somewhere and I could see myself like, okay, you know, I'm shopping with the wife and she's trying on clothes. All right, cool. Let me play for a little bit. But 99% of the time, I don't want to play on the phone screen. So, and that's the intent. The intent's to have it on a mobile device. So that's just a PChild problem, I think. You know?
If this was iPhone, say this was the iPhone beta, then I just plug in and I play on the monitor with my controller, and that's great. That's like ideal. But there's some just weird Samsung stuff, and yeah, my phone is just not working.
And it's like I could buy it, like, you know, chat saying, you know, the new iPad mini or the new iPads or whatever. Like, yeah, I get it, but like, so that's like a $300, $400, or $500 device, depending on which one you get. It's like that's the price of a console. You know what I mean? To play Diablo Immortal, like just port that shit to PlayStation, PS5, or Xbox, or even PS4, whatever. I don't care, and it's gonna have the power to play it. You're already gonna have controller support anyways. So I guess the only downside is that you're going to have to give up some monetization to Sony or Xbox for the in-app purchases, maybe. You know, that whole Epic versus Apple deal all over again, maybe. I don't know. So
yeah.
And maybe it will. Maybe you know, when they added controller support, that was part of the reasoning, was like, hey, we could put this on PlayStation someday or Switch or something. So
maybe. I also did an unofficial like not supported controller. I used the Switch Pro.
Oh yeah, it worked.
And it worked just fine.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my PS4 one was flawless. Like it literally was. It was so easy to hook up. So it's weird you had trouble with Xbox. So that's kind of,
it wouldn't even connect.
It's kind of weird.
I think like, you know? I don't know, because I never used the thing. I never used my Xbox ever.
It could have been user error. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Because I'm really technically illiterate. But it's cool because we had people like reach out and it's like, hey, oh, here's how you disable the weird window mode you guys are experiencing. And
we had some. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
So,
you know. Yeah, and there's also the big thing I got from some of the feedback from watching the guys, you know, play a lot more like the Echo and the Racks. Is it like you're forced into grouping later on, as opposed to like before you're able to like run dungeons solo, but now you're like being forced into grouping, which is I don't know. For me, I would hate that for sure.
I don't think I like that either. And I feel like it kind of defeats some of the point of the game. Like the game is a mobile game, which to me means just pick up and play a little bit and pick up and play when you have 10, 15 minutes. But if you only have 10, 15 minutes, like are your buddies going to be on at the same time? Like you're going to pick up random times. And it's like, okay, so now I got to find a party. So if there's matchmaking, I guess to support it, then that's okay as long as the content, but then the content couldn't be that challenging if you're going to random matchmake, you know?
Yeah, I don't think it's dungeons. So like the content's not challenging, but like,
yeah,
I get.
So
I get
random
it.
matchmake, I guess.
The social.
I'm not a fan either personally, but I get it.
I get encouraging like the social aspect of the game. Obviously, you want people to party up. You want like there to be a social aspect, and it's a mobile game, so like you're expecting a large audience. You want a large audience. You want to encourage people to spend money on the game. So I get all that, but to force it and like you can't even do it is always bad. So like obviously to me the play should be like, well, you have to sit in like, if they really want to do that, you have to sit in like the group queue for like 30 seconds before you can solo queue or something, because then it would be faster to get a group than it would be to run it and wait. Right. But yeah, something. But yeah,
so you know,
but it's cool. Little bugs here and there is really all I'm seeing so far. People seem to like the necro, and I do want to finish like leveling the character before we have to give the phones back and give full feedback. But what level are you up to?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I want to say not crazy high. I spent more time trying to emulate it, like in the late 20s, early 30s, something like that. So I don't, not crazy high.
Yeah.
I spent so much time trying to emulate it. It was nutty. Like that honestly was almost more fun than playing the game. I kind of like shit like that though. Like that's always been something that I've enjoyed. So I was like, ooh, let me see if I can get this to run, and tried like every setting combination possible on every emulator. So, but yeah, it was fun though. I mean, I had a good time playing what I did play so far.
Okay, I mean
the leveling experience was the same from what I've seen. Like the actual like storyline and quest hasn't. I mean, it's the same thing that we experienced the last two times.
Yeah, well, there were differences. There were definitely differences. There's like more stuff to do definitely this time around, which is promising, because like before the late game was just like run around zones and do the random events, and there weren't that many random events to do. So it seems like they added a lot more.
Yeah, I don't know about like the in-game stuff for sure. I because I didn't get crazy into it, but I just remember like doing some of the quests. I'm like, oh, I remember this as I'm going through them. So I don't know how the alt character stuff's gonna play out. I know I researched a little bit about like sharing and Paragon and stuff, and I think they removed it for this one. Didn't they make your Paragon character specific now? Or was that just talks that we had? I think that they changed it. And so like it used to be shared, now it's not shared. And so I could see having multiple characters become monotonous if you have to go through the leveling process every time. So we'll see what they end up doing for that too. Like they might have some cool alternate character ideas in play.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was okay. Well, there'll be more to report on there for sure next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then in other news, more Blizzard stuff. So Jen Oneal, which if you guys remember, gosh, it wasn't that long ago.
3 months ago.
Yeah,
like
3 months ago. It was like they announced that she was going to basically lead Blizz with Mikey Barra. And she's now bailing, basically. She's going to go work for ABK. Because she says that, like, rights and diversity and all that stuff is like kind of her jam, and so she's going to be like a leader of a like Women in Games International kind of thing. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I mean, it's cool. I think it's cool that she's following her passion and she's doing that stuff. If that's what she's really into, I don't know, man. To me, it seems weird because that's such a high profile job. Like you're co-CEO of one of the most famous game companies in the planet of all time ever, and you're stepping down from that after like 3 months. So I would assume
but it's also like the worst possible time probably to be the limelight.
But
head
she knew
honcho
that
at
when she
Blizzard.
took it, though. It's
Yeah.
not like she got that and then the shit went down. She
So-
got it because the shit went down, I feel like.
Then
you know?
tinfoil hat is maybe she's like jumping ship because it's like she feels maybe the worst isn't
It could be.
done, or
Or maybe she had enough money, so maybe she collected a couple checks and it's like, I'm good now. I don't know. It doesn't look good for Blizzard though. Regardless of however you spin it. It's like either A, they made a bad choice in choosing her because she didn't want the job in the first place or wasn't ready to handle it, and it was like it could be like A, not qualified or couldn't handle it, so this is a polite way to step down. Yeah, I've been locked up for a minute. Or B, she, I don't know, man. It just doesn't look good for Blizzard anyway. Any way you spin it. So, but I do think it's cool if it's legit. If her reasoning is legit, then I'm, that's cool for her that she's going to
agreed,
empower women in the gaming scene. That's awesome.
Super agreed. But maybe we'll get an article 2 years from now from her that says something entirely different.
She's like, listen, I became CEO for 1 week, and
someone like asked me
they
a
took me to the
sexually
Bill Cosby
inappropriate
suite.
question. Yeah,
You know what I mean,
Fuck.
or something. They're like, fuck. I went into my new office and the Cosby photo was literally hanging up. So, yeah, it feels bad, man. Peace, Jen.
But more Blizzard news, and this one hits home. This is the worst news maybe we've covered all year,
or the best news.
Yeah, well, maybe
we'll talk about
yeah,
or the best news.
So Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 have been delayed. It looks like, and it's kind of vague verbiage. I don't think that they're actually planning on launching this year, but they just say like they're significantly pushing it back. I want to read this exactly because it's not that long. As we've worked with new leadership in Blizzard within the franchises themselves, particularly in certain creative key roles, it has become apparent that some of the Blizzard content planned for this year will benefit from more development time to reach its full potential. While we're still planning on delivering a substantial amount of content from Blizzard next year, we are now planning for a later launch for Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 than originally envisaged. I don't know why I couldn't read that. There are two of the most eagerly anticipated titles in the industry, and our teams have made great strides towards completion in recent quarters. But we believe giving the team some extra time to complete production and continue growing their creative resources to support the titles after launch will ensure that these releases delight and engage their communities for many years into the future. These decisions will push out the financial uplift that we had expected next year, but we are confident that this is the right course of action for our people, our players, and our long-term success of our franchise.
Yeah, that's a bummer. It's a good thing, but it's a bummer.
Yeah.
So we expected, jokingly when they announced D4, I said 2023, and I totally expected it way before that. Now I think that we might miss that window, dude.
I
feel.
Yeah, when I said 2023, I'm dead serious from the get go. If they're planning on launching next year, I've been flabbergasted and really, really worried.
I think that was more directed at Overwatch 2, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I kind of expected Overwatch 2 already as well. I expected to have that one already. But we've talked about it a bunch on the podcast. We played Overwatch 2 at 2019, and maybe they just slapped some shit together for BlizzCon 2019.
Felt like that. Yeah.
Because Overwatch 2 was booty. It was not good at all. I was like, let's leave. We left in the middle of a play session.
Right.
The first time playing a game, and we look at each other like, do you want to leave? And we're like, yes. Yeah. That's bad, man. That's bad.
Yep.
So, Overwatch 2, I don't know how they save that. They haven't ever shown anything that's been like, yo, that's awesome. That's innovative. That's cool. Let's play that.
But people still play a lot of Overwatch. So if you just add more content to the game, I gotta think it's gonna pop off.
Yeah, it's like they just want to put a 2 on it to sell more copies or something, I guess, which is fine. I don't know. Do what you got to do to make money, but Overwatch 2 is a great, Overwatch 1 is still a good game. It's still a fun game. So, but I don't know, man. Diablo 4, still hasn't shown me anything substantial enough to be like, this is it. This is going to be the game.
Totally.
You know, there's been nothing. Like graphically, of course, like it, you know, Blizzard never disappoints in that department. Like,
wow. Diablo 3 is kind of a graphical disappointment, but
not for the time though.
I mean, they made it cartoony and stuff. That's still kind of disappointing.
But I don't know, man. If you go back to when it released and comparatively to other ARPGs and other games at the time, I think it was ahead. I think it set a precedent for even though the art style may not have been what we wanted. But D4 is going to look beautiful, but the end game, like there's been no systems, no end game, nothing in it that makes me go, this is amazing. And even the PvP stuff that they stole from Division, I think that's a really good fundamental system, but Division screwed it up really bad. It's a good idea, it's a good concept, but they screwed it up really bad. And if Blizzard doesn't handle it right, that's going to be garbage too. Nobody's going to play it. So, you know, this extra time could be really good. I would much rather them delay the game an extra year or two. Because here's the thing: if they ship a game that's shitty, we're not going to play it.
Right.
If they don't ship a game, we're not going to play it. So it's like both options you're not going to play. So at least the delayed option, you can potentially maybe get something good in the future.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I always think games should take more time. I'm still like genuinely worried about like Halo committing to this December 8th thing. It doesn't seem like it's gonna pop off.
Halo wasn't ready either. Like you played it a little, right? I played it. Like I had the same sentiment when I was playing Halo. I played 3 or 4 matches, and I specifically only played because I was like, it was Halo. If it would have been any other title after one match, I would have been like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
But I played 4 thinking like there's got to be some, you know, what's the thing that make me want to play this? It didn't catch me. You know, and maybe because I'm not an old school Halo fanboy. But
I enjoyed it. I was enjoying my playtime, but while I was playing, because you know it's a Halo game and like people are playing and like that's exciting because it takes years to get a game going like on Master Chief Collection and like Halo 5. So like I was having a good time for sure, but I was also playing and having that thought in my head. I was like, there is nothing in this that is going to like set this Halo apart. Like this is going to be another Halo that people play and get hyped about for like a couple months, and then it just dies, and like everyone goes back to playing COD.
Yeah, what are you doing to innovate? Like what's going to keep you there?
Nothing.
Like when I was playing it, I'm thinking like this game's okay, but Apex to me was more fun. I was like, if I'm going to play a shooter, I'm going to go play Apex. I think it's a better game. So, like, what do you have, Halo, that's going to make me want to play Halo? What game mode? What type of like, what is going to make me play the game? And there was nothing unique there. Yeah. There really wasn't.
And I think that there was kind of a misplay on the part of 343 because, like, you know, they built everything from the ground up themselves. And, like, it's a totally new engine and, like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, so they have to do, like, literally everything all over again. And so, like, Halo 5 still likes a great fucking game. I wish they would just, like, iterate like Call of Duty does. Not obviously what Call of Duty does, which is release the same fucking game every year, but, like, just use more of what you have and then make some really cool shit. And instead of, like, well, we're going to go start completely from scratch. And it still does, to me, it still doesn't look quite right. Like, it's still
I don't think graphically it looks that impressive either.
I agree.
It looks like it's a last gen console game. And I'm running ultra settings, everything cranked to the max, and you know, it ran smooth. I had frames. It looked, you know, from that aspect, but it didn't impress, man. I wasn't impressed almost anywhere. And like I said, and I'm coming at the viewpoint of I'm not a Halo fanboy. And I think that all the non-Halo fanboys might get caught in the hype and be like, oh, it's free to play. Sure, I'll check it out and try it. But then they're going to be like, well, I don't have that nostalgia factor to keep me playing it. So I'm going to go back to COD. I'm going to go back to Apex, Fortnite, whatever flavor of the month FPS that is, you know, and then it'll just be the Halo fanboys still playing. So,
yeah,
I don't know, but I hope it does well, man. I want the Halo game to pop off. So I hope that there's some secret juice
I agree,
that we
man.
just don't have.
I just don't think that like Arena 4v4 is like what people necessarily. Just no BR is still blowing my mind. So
yeah, man. Like you can like Apex added their like arena 3v3 mode, and it's really fun, and it actually fits so well. But they still have their BR, so like the two different game modes complement each other, because it's like I want some quick instant action. Like I want to work on aiming, I want to work on whatever. Go play the arena mode. But then it's like but when I get burned out on that, like the BR is a completely different play style, and you can just jump into that and play it. And it is crazy that they don't have that. We didn't get to see any vehicles in the test for Halo that I played, so I'm assuming there's going to be Halos in large maps. Although I don't know.
The second weekend was the big team battle, so there was vehicles and stuff. I just didn't play them.
So we'll see how they fly and play or drive or whatever.
Who cares?
So
it's vehicles. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on to other notes. Diablo 2 Resurrected is still having, and we're talking week after week after week here of connection issues, people getting disconnected, people getting put in the queues, people can't get into the game, people try to connect to the game and they just get failures and without really much of an error message. So Pez came out, earlier this week.
Yeah.
And, no, actually, right after the podcast last week. He said, we're going to provide you all an update on the work the team is doing. Basically, as we mentioned in our last update, character saves have been occurring on the global database. Next week, our internal teams will begin testing a significant change and having saves occur on the regional end rather than global in hopes of alleviating some of the database stresses. Because he talked about how, like, it's basically because, like, China connects like a bazillion times every morning, and everyone's trying to connect to the same server. So, and so there's that going. And on top of that, we have another client patch this week to offer better transparency on queue times by adding time estimations alongside of your replacement in the queue. So,
yeah, I've had my community reach out and talk to me, because I was pretty lucky when I loaded up D2. I'm playing late at night, and maybe it's not as bad as in the daytime or in the morning. The longest I had to wait was about 15 to 20 minutes, which honestly is a long time. I feel like that's a crazy amount of time. But I've had people from my community tell me that they'll boot up at 8 or 9 a.m. and they're in queue for an hour. They're like, literally, I'll get up out of bed, go jump in queue, because I know I can make breakfast, take a shower, do whatever, and come back and then probably get in. And then they also said something about joining games. I've only played solo. Like, I probably will only play solo, but they're like, if you're trying to join a game or get in a buddy's game, if you misspell something or you whatever, then there's like an internal cooldown on being able to search again or join that game, and it'll kick you out. And they've had it like crash when they mistype a game name, and then they have to get back in queue to get back in the game, and just all kinds of crazy shenanigans. So I'm just like, man, that's super unfortunate that it launched in this state. So,
yeah. And then finally, the juice. So if you guys are living under a rock, Diablo 3 announced its PTR this week, and it started just before the podcast today. I think it started like 2:00 our time or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's some exciting stuff in here. And, they didn't go too deep, like we kind of hinted at earlier. They didn't go too deep about what exactly all the changes were. But, yeah. So first up, they're changing Spirit Walk, or the Shukrani's Triumph. Spirit Walk lasts until you attack 3 times or until elite enemy is within 20 yards of you. Attacks while in Spirit Realm deals 75% to 100% increased damage. Big. So just like more speed for the Witch Doctor, which is great.
Yep.
Lakuma's Ornament, reduce all damage taken by 60% if your Soul Harvest stack is at least 1 to 3, in addition to 2% for each other stack of Soul Harvest. So more juice, more defense,
more toughness. Yeah, that's something that they lacked, that they've really needed in the past, is more toughness. I felt like they were pretty squish. So that's really cool. I'm excited to see that change.
And then big changes for basically a Racker and all the spider kind of related items. So Spider Queen's Grasp, of course. Spiders deal additional 600 to 800% damage and release a web on impact that slows enemies by 80%.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how much of a damage. I wish they would put the old values in there, because I don't have those.
I don't think it had a damage value before.
Oh, did it have nothing?
No, it had nothing. And then the Brood of Renee, core spiders deal additional 75 to 100% damage, and each spider bite causes a target to strike an additional 1% damage from core spiders for 5 seconds. So get about spiders, boys. And then the 2-piece course spiders will now spawn with health and attack twice as fast.
Yay.
And Spirit Actor 4, summon permanent Spider Queen who will leave behind webs the last 15 seconds. So enemies, you take 75% reduced damage while in the web. Spider Queen is commanded to move or you cast your corpse spiders. Yeah. So yay, they finally got a command skeletons, which they've been praying for.
Yeah. I mean, Witch Doctor pets are so smart though. You know, like they're so good that you don't really need it. Sarcasm. Yeah, it's, you know, cool. Spider set got some love. The tankiness that they added, they still didn't address the big nerf that they did to Spirit Barrage from last patch, right? I don't understand. I mean, I still don't understand why they nerfed it. I don't think it was outperforming that hard. Maybe there was something I missed. I don't know, but they didn't talk about it. I was hoping they'd juice it up. But I hope this spider set's cool. Witch Doctor needs something. The play style to me of this set, in theory, seems not fun, but I've had things that sound not fun actually end up being a lot of fun. So we'll see how it plays. But it's going to be, you know, we'll see if it's juicy. I'm glad that Witch Doctor got some love, though.
Yeah.
The toughness changes at minimum, or at least are good. So.
And then this has been a little controversial. So they buffed like Marauders, or they changed Marauders and buffed it, and they added a 400% increased damage on the Marauder 4-piece. But I'm assuming because you can mix match pieces, that was probably a bad idea. And so they
wanted to kill the N6 M4.
Yeah,
I believe was the intent. So they wanted to go back to old school Marauders. Right. Yeah, I'm glad. Like N6 M4. First off, if you like that set, then I'm sorry, but I hated it. The play style was not fun. It was not fun to play at all. It sucked. And I'm glad it's gone personally. So
I'm in agreement.
Yeah. So I think they intended to go back to the old school Marauders play style, like the Sentry play style from forever ago. If you guys remember that play style, where your sentries are still doing your damage. I don't know if they hit it though.
Yeah, we'll see. So 6-piece got changed your primary skills: Elemental Arrow, Chakram, Impale, Multi-Shot, Cluster Arrow, Companions, Vengeance, and Sentries deal 12,000 increased damage for every active sentry. And the 6-piece is now Impale deals additional, or that's a Shadow. Sorry, Shadow got changed too. So Impale deals additional 75,000 weapon damage for the first
which
hit.
Is the same, I believe. I don't think they buffed that, but what they did add was the
25,000
to the additional. So you can basically kill packs of trash slowly now with the elite that you're starting to snipe, is what it looks like.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's like a convenience factor, and it'll probably increase clear times for sure.
Oh yeah,
for greater rifts and stuff too. But I think that's going to be more of a convenience. It's not going to alter the play style really. It's just going to feel better overall. You'll just be like, oh, shit's dead. Cool.
Yeah, I think Shadow has potential to be like really, really fast, like elite killer. So that's going to make it juicier. And then the one change everyone really cares about, and all these others are just resident sleeper. But like this to me, I want to like your upfront reaction here. So Army of the Dead is changed from 1750 up to 31,500.
All right. So they changed was it last patch where they changed it initially, right?
So initially it was strong.
It 2 patches ago?
No, this was 2 patches ago. I think it went live, right?
I don't even remember. I think it was.
Sure.
So like I didn't like the new play style, but they changed it. I'd never even liked it in the first place. And so now they just buffed Army of the Dead. To me, it's like I don't know. I don't know. I don't like the play style. So is it going to make it fun? Is it going to be super broken? I don't know. We'll have to test it. I'm sure you have already.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. Is it going to change the play style though? I don't think so.
The play style can be really, really fun, actually. It just depends on how you play it.
I played it when you could go. So I remember the PTRs where you could go like full on, couldn't take damage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah, and then
invulnerable.
they changed that. Like that was fun just because you were invincible, right?
Okay.
But obviously you can't go live with that. And then honestly, I'm having a hard time even remembering now because all I played was Wizard last season. They just whizzed it up so hard. So I
They
don't
changed
remember.
it from like damage for every active minion, but now it's just permanent active minions. So like you're not encouraged to use the mages and stuff anymore. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been pretty good in our testing. Like we're speeding 110s in 2 minutes. Pretty strong.
So you're just pulling a bunch of minions out.
No, actually, the way I play it is so you obviously pull out your revived minions at the start of the rift because you have to have them up to get that full 3150 for 31500. But like then you army the dead,
and then your
elite pack and
cooldown.
You run to the next elite pack. Big explosion. Next elite pack. That's how I play it. But there's certain people that just play like you put on, Simulacrum Reservoir with a, Shadow Hook and just walk through the rift and kill everything. So it just depends on what you like. I like the zoomy, but
yeah, I would like to zoom around probably more too. Elite sniping is usually a more fun playstyle. To me, so I would probably like that than a full clear. And I feel like you're not as hindered if you have crappy rifts. If you're elite sniping too, you don't have to have the density to progress as fast, so you can get a little bit more consistent. But
agreed.
So that's cool.
And then Firebird.
Okay, but hold on, let's back up to Necro real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bones of Rothma again. Still no other set changes, no Traghouls.
Well, they never got Bones of Rathma right. So
no, I know, but no Inarius. Inarius has never been right ever.
Inarius can perform. There's that. It's no one's going to use it. But it's not.
Never
worthless.
been it's never got its
Tribal is straight fucking worthless. Inarius.
I know, but I'm just saying I don't. Witch Doctor needed love, and I think they spent some time on Witch Doctor. I get that, but man, there's some sets for Necro. Necro just feels all over the place. I don't feel like it has. I don't know, man. I feel like it needs some love. I feel like some of those sets need to be completely redesigned. I hope that's on the chopping block one of these patches.
Only Traghouls needs a redesign at this point. I think that Pestilence works great, and it just needs to be juiced. I think that Rathma now is fine if they keep it this high. That's the thing that I wanted, the reaction from you initially is 1750. They went live with 1750, and then this patch was oh, actually 31,500. How is it that bad? And it still went live. I don't know. Anyways,
yeah. I mean, and this is the first wave of PTR, so that they end up rebalancing things. They kind of shoot high and get numbers and go back. I don't know, man. I just Traghouls is bad. Inarius has never really been good. I would like to see some love on those sets. And then to me, I didn't like where Rothma was last time I played it. Now I gotta admit, last season or this current season, I didn't touch it at all. So I have no idea currently where it's at. But I know in the PTR in the season it got changed. I was I don't like this. Peace. So
sure.
So I don't know, man. I would like to see the Necro get a little bit of love, a little bit of some work over.
I'm glad we got something though. That's always the big takeaway. Is I don't like to read patch notes and there's nothing for Necro. A
little patch like that. I think every class should get touched a little bit.
Agreed.
Just a little bit, and then one class or two classes should get hey, we really worked these two sets over. He's underperforming. The worst sets just got buffed. Is what I would do. Is what I think they should do. But
yeah, agreed. And then lastly, like we were about to say, is Firebird's Finery 2-piece bonus is now disintegrate ignites enemies, causing them to take 1500% weapon damage until they die. When you die, a meteor falls from the sky, buys you 6 effect. What's different there? I don't even know.
The weapon damage maybe on the ignite.
Is it?
Maybe I'd have to look. That's what I hate about these patterns. Usually they're pretty good.
Yeah.
And they put the red strikeout.
They did it on Necro. The Necro, they're it's 30. It's now this.
I think the damage is less, is what they did on that. So I'd have to look it up, but I think they took damage on the 2-piece down.
Halved is what chat's saying.
Okay.
In 6 piece, you gain 25% increased damage while ignite is applied to target. Hitting an ignited enemy with a non-channeling fire spell nail ignites damage multiplied by combustion stacks. So I also don't know what's different there because I have not played.
Yeah, I think so. The difference now is you have to hit the enemy with a non-channeled spell versus before it was like while they were ignited, you did damage and then you would cast your mages, your mirror images. And your mirror images would get that crazy damage because you had something on fire, you had something ignited. I don't know. I don't remember. But they mechanically, I think, altered it some. And it looks like they took damage down again. It looks like they shit on it, is what it looks like, pretty hard. I'd have to pull numbers up to see exactly how much, but this looks like a pretty big hit.
Yeah,
So.
developer's note says Wizards Firebird's Finery was reborn in patch 2.7 and one of the strongest builds in the game for all activity since it's time to reduce the power of Firebird's Finery to bring it more in line with other classes and builds.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. It was powerful, no doubt. It was definitely super juicy. And needed probably a little nerf. I don't, this seems like they overcompensate a little sometimes, so hopefully it wasn't too much of a nerf. Like, I would rather see them bring it down a little bit and then like, it's still a little too powerful. Let's bring it down a little bit more next patch instead of over nerfing. But maybe that's their way to get people to play these other new classes, like, to play the Witch Doctor set and the other sets they touched. Wasn't there, did I read wrong? There was no Hammer of the Ancients changes? Barb changes in there? Am I making, maybe? Okay, I'm dreaming.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, both Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients are alive. Okay, Hammer of the Ancients does 680% increased damage.
Yeah.
Hoda.
Buff some Hoda. Hoda was a fun playstyle so many years ago. Now probably not so much, but.
And then finally the seasonal theme, and this is, arguably the most juicy thing here, and we're gonna dive deep into it because that's what I spent most of my time on. So season 25 introduces a new type of Sockettle item called Soul Shards. Nephilim can find 7 unique Soul Shards based on the Lords of Hell, which give demonic powers to players. One of 3 primeval soul shards can be equipped into helmets, and one of 4 lesser evil soul shards can be equipped into weapons. Each soul shard can be upgraded 3 times using the new seasonal exclusive consumable, the Hellforge Ember. Soul shards and Hellforge Embers can drop anywhere in Sanctuary, but soul shards have a higher chance to drop from bosses. Soul shards cannot be traded, cannot be salvaged, or utilized in the Chaldean's Despair. You may only equip 1 primeval soul shard and 1 less series evil soul shard at a time. Lastly, soul shards and Hellforge Embers only drop in seasonal play and will not transfer to your non-season character when the season ends. Maybe. Anyways. If it doesn't roll over.
Right. Yes, they didn't tell you what they do.
Right.
Which is why.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's
why. Do they want us to find out? Like, we're gonna find out in PTR though. It's like don't give us a PTR if you want to do the surprise suspense thing. Like, because then now it's like, oh, I got to play PTR if I want to figure out what I want to do for the season. I think
it's easier to read stuff on paper and be like, oh my God, that's broken, or oh my God, that's going to suck. I think you read it and then like you actually use it and then it like kind of changes.
Have you acquired some yet?
Oh yeah, I've got them all.
Okay, let's see what they do.
Okay, so
and they also didn't talk about the upgrading system. So if I remember correctly, and maybe you can talk about this a little bit, they can randomly roll stuff when you upgrade them. So you might have to upgrade multiple times of the same thing to get one good.
Yeah, so there is some dynamic aspect to it, and we'll get into that when we look at these, because I've stored here multiple copies of some of these, and we can see each and every affix. Okay, so first up is the Stain of Sin, which is a lesser soul shard that can be socketed into weapons. So the main theme of this one is that you deal 25% less damage when you kill an elite. So you flat deal 25% less damage. When you kill an elite, you spawn a pool of blood that increases the damage non-elite enemies take by 250%, and it lasts 7 seconds. So that is what the base thing does before you. Here, we'll even, actually, I can't because I don't need blood shards. I was going to show what it looks like before you juice it up. But so yeah, you get one of those, and the base effect is the 25% less damage and getting the blood pool. And then you like juice it up 3 times with the embers and blah, blah, blah. It changes. But the interesting thing about these is as you rank them up, they get stats. And so what is orange is the stuff that's like not necessarily guaranteed, but like those are like the common rolls, I guess. And the gray is like kind of random. So like if you can see between these two, this one rolled holy skills, this one rolled cold. And then the interesting thing about these is that the line above, like what they do, what their base effect is, that changes, and that can be up to 3 different things. So with the Stain of Sin, option 1 is the pool of blood will now collect Rift progress globes. Option 2 is you deal 20. Oh wait, no, the pool of blood will now negate elite affixes in its area. And option 3 is the pool of blood now also freezes non-elite enemies.
Yeah. And so, and like you were saying, like one rolled holy, one rolled cold. There's random stats that can roll on these things. So getting the one you want is kind of RNG,
right?
Which is cool. It's a chase.
Agreed.
And then I think when you upgrade them, that has RNG involved on which stats you're unlocking or upgrading to also, right?
To a small degree.
Yeah, I think there's RNG in that as well. So it's to get the perfect one could be a little bit of a chase. Yeah. If you're like, okay, I know I can get one that has this, this, and this. It's not going to be like, well, I got it the first weekend, done. I mean, probably not. If you do, you're like, super lucky.
Right.
So I think that's cool. I think it's cool they added some pretty awesome base power. And then if you want to perfectly roll one or upgrade one, then you got to work a little bit for it.
But the nutty thing here is like all of these do some pretty crazy base effects. So like people were concerned that like, oh no, we can't wear emeralds, but pretty much anything you put in your weapon gives you crazy amounts of crit damage, or has the potential to anyways. Plus base damage, plus increased damage against elites. On this particular one, the Stain of Sin, life per hit. I mean, these are pretty nutty. To me, the Stain of Sin sucks. The fact of you deal 25% less damage when you kill an elite enemy. You spawn a pool of blood that increases the damage non-elites receive by 25%. So it's a stationary pool of blood. And I don't know if you've ever had this, but like I can only see this being good for like a shadow DH. Because like what other build in Diablo 3 do you like kill the elite before you kill the trash?
I don't know, because usually, like in group play, you're using the trash to kill the elite.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And in solo play, you're either not messing with elites at all, or you're sniping them. Right. So yeah, but that might pair well with the new DH changes they made.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't like the negative effects that correspond with that.
I think
25% damage.
I like that.
It's
like a PoE unique. Everything has like a kiss of death. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm sold on the negatives and positives trade-off.
Okay, and so another lesser soul shard for weapons, and this one seems to be completely geared towards support characters. So the base effect, this is the Drag of Lies. The base effect is reduce the damage of enemies hit by 33% for 5 seconds. Damage you deal is reduced by 50%.
Okay.
So obviously meant to be a support character thing in the way I read it.
Yeah.
And then the 3 random things it can roll is double the damage reduction enemies receive when you critically strike them. So a reason to build crit potentially on
crit into your
support, which
or if you're hitting fast enough.
A support necro
just crit anyways.
Does crit because of the cold lances. They inflict stacking crit. So this could be a good thing for that. Option 2 is reduce the damage of enemies. Each elite enemy slain with the damage reduction from this soul also reduces your active cooldowns by 5 seconds. So that's pretty big. And then finally, on receiving fatal damage, spawn a shadow that prevents your death, restores 35% health, and grants 225 all res to all party members while it's active. The shadow lasts 15 seconds.
Okay. So cheat death for hardcore.
Yeah. And you can see on these, like I've saved some just to show like the kind of random art, like stats that can. This one's kind of interesting because it showcases. That's why I kept this one. So this one rolled 3 grades, but then I kept one just like it and it rolled like 4 grays. So like I don't know like what's the stat weight for like the guaranteed oranges versus the grays.
I think there's some really high some baked in RNG in this. I think it was intentional that they wanted this to be a chase. So, and have you deconstructed one yet? Have you tried to blow one up at the blacksmith?
Yeah, they give you gems.
Mm-hmm. Like what kind of gem?
Yeah, like the jewel, the topaz. It's
Imperials.
Imperials.
They just give you base gems.
It gives you Imperials, 3 Imperials or something.
Okay. Yeah.
At least rank 3s. I don't think I tried to break a rank 1.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's that. And then another lesser is Remnant of Pain. So the base effect of this one is your crit chance is reduced by 15%. Okay. Attacks against incapacitated enemies are automatically critical hits. So builds that have a lot of CC could potentially benefit from this. Would it not have to
Frozen Waste count as incapacitated?
Yeah.
So CC. Like, yeah, you'd have 100% chance to crit instantly off the bat.
So like a Land of the Dead build would be a lot of crit.
But that buffs crit anyways passively, but this would be better. It'd be faster, I guess. So
yeah. To me, right out the gate, I was like, well, I mean, this would be good for speeds, but like what really lives, you know, like when you're pushing, I could only see like maybe Frozen Lancer benefiting from this, but no one pushes with that anymore. So I don't know.
Incapacitated well, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, other classes can definitely stun and incapacitate shit. Like Furious Charge can incapacitate demon hunters when they flip through things. I know it knocks them back. I don't know if it stuns them.
I think there's a rune that can make it stun or something.
Monks can stun as well.
Well, I'm not saying like what classes can stun. I'm saying like what classes could benefit from that.
That's what I'm saying. Window. So I'm trying to think of gems that would be like Furious Charge would stun the whole time, and you would guarantee crit every time you charge through, right? But I don't. That play style. It's been so long since we've played a Furious Charge Barb, and actually had it be good that I don't know if it'd be enough to bring it back. You know.
Yeah.
So.
But so the 3 random things that can roll in this one is when you critically hit an enemy, you increase the attack speed of all players by 5% for 5 seconds, max 10 stacks. So potentially.
Say that one more time. What was it beginning?
When you critically hit an enemy, you increase the attack speed of all players by 5% for 5 seconds.
What's the negative?
The negative was the original thing. You crit chance was reduced by 15%.
Oh, okay. I got you. So this is the second variant of the same one. I got you. Okay.
And variant 2 is while your movement speed is 50% faster than normal, you gain passability. When you move through enemies, you knock them back and stun them for 2 seconds. And option 3, hitting enemies with cold damage has a 50% chance to freeze them. Cold skill damage is increased to frozen targets by 20%. And again, this one kind of rolls, that base damage. Seems like it can pick an element, crits. Seems like all the weapon ones kind of roll the same base stats, but they all can have a possibility to be like totally RNG, it looks like. And now the greater ones, these are where it gets kind of interesting to me. Like these 3 are pretty good. Okay, so starting with, we have one more lesser because that was 1, 2, 3. One more lesser, sorry. Shard of Hatred. Wait, is that a greater? No, that's a, hang on. Helmet. Weapon. Okay, so Essence of Anguish is the last lesser. And this one, to me, is Poggers, because it seems to be a bit more necro-related. So, the main effect is every time you deal poison damage to an enemy, increase your cooldown reduction, movement speed, and damage received by 5% for 10 seconds, max 10 stacks. So 50% cooldown reduction off this thing, 50% movement speed.
And movement speed too, right? It's gotta be poison damage though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's the
baked in. So if you're a Crusader, rip.
Yep.
Yeah, so variant 1 is when you deal poison damage to an enemy, they receive 50% increased poison damage from all sources for 10 seconds. Pretty poggers. That could be good for like a poison scythe. Option 2 is your movement speed and cooldown reduction can be increased up to 15 times instead of 10. So that's pretty big. And then lastly, the one I'm wearing, because I wanted to see what it did, is killing an enemy deals the damage done by the death blow to all enemies within 25 yards. So if you got like a big hit.
Then you could big hit everything.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of
Army of the Dead. So
a big hit.
That would work. Read that one more time for me.
Yeah. Killing an enemy deals the damage done by the death blow to all enemies within 25 yards.
That would be super good for Impale. Because Impale's going to hit hard.
Big hit, yeah.
It's a big hit.
DH can't do poison damage.
Oh, man. Why? Why poison, Blizz? Damn,
I wonder if the base effect, you know what I mean? Like the weapon doing. Did they change that so it's always damage now on the base weapon?
It just like never mattered, it seemed like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it would. Like if you made it poison, I don't think it would, but that'd be interesting to test. So where does it say you have to do poison? Yeah, read the whole gym again. Where does the poison part come into play?
That's true. I guess that part doesn't. So killing an enemy deals damage done by the death blow to all enemies within 25 yards. You just don't get the beneficial.
What was the poison portion of it?
Every time you deal poison damage to an enemy, increase your cooldown reduction, movement speed, and damage received by 5% for 10 seconds.
I mean, you're still losing a huge major effect, though. Like, even though you could still maybe use the gem, you're still losing a big component of it, which was that poison damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That one's pretty interesting to me. And then the greater soul shards. Okay, so
DHs use poison, by the way, just saying.
Wait, what?
They should have DHs should have poison too.
No, screw DHs. Okay, so first up,
poison Impale. That sounds hot.
Fragment of Destruction. So this is the first one we're going to talk about that goes into helmets. So the base effect is you move unhindered through enemies. Each enemy you pass through will be marked by destruction for 7 seconds. Each marked enemy you die removes 1 second from one of your skills cooldown. If the mark of destruction expires before the enemy dies, you lose 2% of your maximum health as damage. Marks are not applied if you are below 35% health. Did you catch all that?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it though.
Yeah, if you can move,
you're gonna be forced. So you're forced to kill like for a speed gem maybe, but like so you're forced to kill everything you go through within 7 seconds. You got 7 seconds to kill it if you go through it, if you touch it, which is fine. But so for push builds, that's instantly out. But for a speed build, okay. But where's your move? There's no movement speed increase there, right? It's a cooldown reduction, which is cool. That could give you like infinite teleports.
But it is unhindered. So it's basically the boots, but
you get the boots without wearing the boots.
Right.
But you're not going to get like a flat movement speed increase for speeds. Like it's going to give you cooldowns for like teleports or things like that, but no flat movement.
Right.
And this seems like this screams speed gem to me. So yeah, we'll see. Kill shit within 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Or you're going to die.
So yeah, that's one. And the stats on these are kind of interesting too. So, you can roll like base life. You can roll up to 20% increase, reduced damage from melee attacks, ranged attacks, like those secondary stats that we kind of try to chase on like perfect items. Like those are like kind of baked into these with big numbers, 20% reduction, which I don't even think you could get across all your gear before. So that might be pretty big. Trying to look at other ones. Yeah, and this one has like, you can also roll base stat. So like this one rolled 991 vitality and 25% life. So like that's a big deal. You can roll int, you can roll dex, all that stuff. And it doesn't seem to be smart rolled. So like I was rolling dex, I was rolling strength. It didn't seem to matter that I was on a necro. And you know, I can roll like holy,
bad.
and Necro doesn't have holy, so
yeah, seems kind of weird.
It's more RNG. So okay,
yeah,
so
I think they definitely wanted some RNG chase with these for sure, which is good. I actually like that.
And then the interesting thing here also is they give 50% increased XP while socketed in the helmet and extra gold find.
So can we get one of these while we're leveling?
Yeah, actually, I got one while leveling.
Nice. Well, we got the crazy drop rate though turned on right now. I mean, I know you can. I'm just saying, like, is it going to be like a?
You'd have to get one while leveling plus get like embers, because like the base effect is all you would get at level 1.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to get crazy lucky. I don't know if you could find embers off of leveling.
And you can't trade the embers either, so you couldn't like,
right.
Oh, I got an ember, let me hook you up.
Right. Okay, so the variants on the fragment destruction are: you now leave a trail of fire in your wake that slays enemies with mark of destruction that are below 10% health. So it gives you that instant necro stuff. Which I could see being good for stuff that like whirlwind, maybe, I don't know, like stuff that you're like moving a lot. Variant 2 is you have a 25% chance to restore 5% health when an enemy dies with mark of destruction active. That seems kind of lame, actually, to me. And the last variation is increase the duration of mark of destruction to 10 seconds instead of the 7 seconds. So you have 10 seconds to kill him.
That's lame. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay, and then next up we have the Sliver of Terror. And the base effects of this guy is your cooldowns are increased by 25%. For every skill on cooldown, you take 12.5 reduced damage and deal 75% increased damage.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you're playing a build that has a lot of cooldowns and your bar is like, you know, full cooldown.
Yeah. If you were playing at like trying to think like fucking Condemned Crusader, for example, where you're popping Accurate's champion, it's going to be on cooldown. Your explosion's always on cooldown. Like all of your Iron Shield, all your stuff's on cooldown the whole time. That's going to be nutty.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy nutty.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's quite good. So variant 1, also your attack speed and critical chance are increased by 7% for each skill on cooldown. So that's pretty nutty.
I'm already thinking like Condemn's going to be broken with this gem, dude. It's going to be so nutty.
Option 2, if there are 3 or more skills on cooldown, your lightning damage and fire damage are increased by 50%. But I tried to get multiples of these and see if is it always going to be lightning and fire? And it seems like
can you get holy on that?
No, it doesn't seem like
crazy.
And then last, you cast a devastating ring of fire after killing 50 enemies. And I did play with this. The damage is good, but it is stationary and it's pretty small, and it only lasts for like 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's going to be like kind of reminiscent of Kill Streak season, where like this is quite good.
Yeah, that seems kind of lame too. That critical strike and attack speed one, that sounds
nutty.
That sounds crazy powerful. So interesting.
Yeah. And then last up we have the Shard of Hatred. Blessed Mother save us.
They embodied you and put you in a gem. Shard of Hatred. Okay.
Are you calling me Mephisto? So the base effect here is you deal 15% reduced damage while you have 3 or fewer enemies within 25 yards. If you have more than 3 enemies within the same distance, you deal 10% increased damage per enemy, up to a maximum of 100.
Okay, I can't read it. It's too small. Repeat it one more time for me, just so I can...
Try to go slow.
Okay.
You deal 15% reduced damage while you have 3 or fewer enemies within 25 yards. If you have more than 3 enemies within the same distance, you deal 10% increased damage per enemy, up to a maximum of 100%. So encouraged to have a lot of mobs.
Encourage groupage. Yeah, whirlwind barb groupage. I was making sure that I heard the negative on the single enemies, because I was at first thinking RGK gem, but it's not. So it was anti RGK. So
yeah, it is anti RGK.
Yeah.
So variant 1 is killing an elite pulls enemies within 40 yards to where the elite died.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. variant 2 is you now deal 50% damage for every enemy instead of 10% to the maximum of 150. So juicing up that density even more. And then lastly, the variant is your movement speed is increased by 50%. Each enemy within 25 yards reduces your movement speed by up to 70%. So you're encouraged, like for those moments you have low density, you move zoom zoom. But when you have like high density,
you're more, it slows down.
Slow.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't.
They're good for Shrouded Moors. Jesus Christ, getting through that zone real fast.
Yeah. Oh wait, we got a map with one enemy on the whole thing. Let's just teleport you out.
It's like we don't want to actually remove Shrouded Moors from the game, so we're giving you a legendary gem to come back.
Yeah, that would be like the hottest patch note to read ever. Is they're like, 10 times the density in Shrouded Moors maps.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, some interesting stuff here, and I like the fact that they can roll like random stats. That's one thing I asked in the Immortal panel right away is like Awakening Gear. I was like, oh, it's always static. I was like, well, that's kind of lame because you're always
it's like WoW gear.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, this is cool, man. I think this is a cool seasonal theme. I think this is probably cooler than the ethereal weapons, in my opinion. Yeah, I think this is the best seasonal theme I've seen yet. I don't think they did it justice with the patch notes, and I hope that people jump in and play. Because maybe they intentionally did it so we'd have some excitement to discover and find out, but I don't feel like that was intentional. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's kind of interesting too, cool. Because like, so say the Sliver of Terror, that's the one that like you get more damage for everything that's on cooldown. I think that could even manipulate people into changing up like meta builds just to include more cooldowns. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So I think that gym, that's the most interesting gym that of the group. That one caught my eye the most. Like I'm thinking, what builds could you use this in?
Yeah.
Explosive blast speeds needs damage increase. That could do it because everything's on cooldown. You're running Condemn Crusader, and even my Crack Crusader Condemn speed build, like that uses everything on cooldown. Mm-hmm. You could do there's more wizard builds I can think of. There's just so many things that you could use that gem for. So and maybe potential spots where you would throw it in where before you may not, So you're like, oh, if I took this buff, like just think of like a barb. I don't like just say Whirlwind for example. You're gonna take Whirlwind, so you could take like Berserker Wrath. You could take all your shouts, right? So Threatening Shout, and then like all the buffs. All those shouts are gonna go on cooldowns. It's just damage juice, So pretty cool, man. I like the play with that one.
Yeah, and so like I was saying earlier, like today was it was kind of a wild day because it's like, oh my god, like there's things I don't know, in the game. It's not just like, oh, this set change, go play with it. It's like, what is this? What's gonna be good? What's gonna be not good, and what's going to be like good for the builds that I've played. And yeah, I like that. I like consumables. I think the Diablo 3 could use like way more consumables. I'd be a little disappointed if like maybe this didn't carry over, but because I think this is actual content. I think that ethereals were kind of a gimmick. I think that all the seasonal themes like the kill streaks and stuff like that, a bit gimmicky, and this is like actual. Like this is stuff you can craft on and like get random with, and you know what I mean. Like this is actual like content to me. So
yeah, this is something. If it goes well, I think that I think a lot of people asked for ethereals to stay in the game, and I feel like they were wrong. Personally, I'm like, I get it, I understand how you like the power creep, but in all honesty, ethereals were just power creep, like crazy power creep. And these are kind of the same, but there's actually more thought that goes behind these gems than just the ethereal, like, oh, I'm going to slap this in. I think there might be a little bit more play behind this and a little more RNG behind it too. So if this goes well, then man, just give the feedback. Like, hey, keep this in the game. I think Blizzard listens a little bit, So, we can, if it plays well this season, then blow the forums up.
Yeah.
Blow the Twitters up. I agree. Positive feedback.
I think that they should go even further with like because like basically the gameplay of this is like you get a gem and then you slam it with this Hellforge Ember. And
Chat's saying you can aug these too, which is really cool.
Anyways, so sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, so I think that like when you slam them, like I don't like the fact that there's baked in stats. Like I don't think there should be really anything guaranteed. So you should have that like that moment when you slam a Hellforge Ember. It's like, oh my god, like please land, please land. You know what I mean? So I think that,
I think there's a lot of RNG in it to get the one you want. It's gonna be
there's gonna be some, a little bit, but I think there's just overall too many good stats baked in to make it not worth. You know what I mean? Because like I want to see it where you slam and you get like a level 1 or level 2, and you immediately know like, oh, this is fucking worthless for me. God damn it. And I like that. I think that
I think and if you slam it, like let's say you like, because chat's saying that you can augment with them, right? And they do 50, 100, 125 is what they're saying. Leveling gems became a chore. That's the honest to God real end game of D3 right now, is leveling your gems to augment your gear. Because it used to be you would augment with 75s or 80s, and then as power creep went up, then you started augmenting 100s, and then as more power creep augments 110s and 115s and 125s. But the time investment it takes to level a gem from 80 to 125 is huge. So your end game gear augmentation got longer and longer every season. And so if this is a way to speed it up a little bit, like I'm all about that, because that's kind of been an annoyance for me every season. Is like, okay, I finally got some gear that's pretty decent. Now I got to augment every single piece of it, and that just means I'm leveling gems the whole time. So yeah, slamming it with a 125 would be cool. So
Macer, who's obviously a dedicated Diablo 3 player in chat, he's saying that the drop rate's about the same as Romaldi's, but we're also on PTR, so there's crazy juiced up drop rate. So yeah, I'll be really curious to like what the drop rate is on these guys, for sure.
Yeah. And that's, those are tweakable numbers too. Like those are things that Blizzard can adjust. Like we can give valid feedback on that. And even your idea of how many positive and how many negative bake stats are maybe the pool of stats. I think even just opening up the pool of stats that can roll in some of these things would greatly increase the RNG, because instead of getting that perfect reroll one, you're going to get one that's got some useless stat on it. You're like, fuck, man, I almost had it,
Yeah.
So
the other thing I really, really don't like, and I hope that they fix, is the Hellforge Embers. When they drop, they are unidentified. So you don't pick them up like currency, because you have to slam on the item, which makes sense. But like, why do you have to identify them? Like, it drops as like an orange, and it says consumable. Like, what it is. There's no question of what it's gonna be, because there's no orange consumable in the game. So I hate that a lot.
Okay.
But look, one thing I wanted to showcase. So look what happens when I drop it on the ground. It's pretty sweet. Would you please?
Can you drop it, please? Oh,
like all these souls, like
what does it look like? Does it show up on minimap? I can't see this.
Yeah, it does actually. It's like it's not showing up here, but it's like it looks like a soul shard on the map. Like maybe nice. I can go to a zone and drop one.
Maybe it's because you've already picked it too.
Maybe. No, it doesn't show, but it does show. I don't know.
That's cool.
Maybe it's the currency that shows. Let me go check that real super quick.
Yeah, I'm all about them updating the drops on the mini map and stuff. I think it's a nice convenience feature to know. Do I need to backtrack for that or not?
It does show on the mini map, I promise. But for these, I guess.
Well, maybe not after the first time you pick it up though, because you're already tagged to it. So it's like, oh, he doesn't want that. So.
No, it's not a primal beam at all. It's like more.
There's
like souls flying around it and stuff. The primal's just red. This is like.
Yeah, it's got like
weird
it's got like
souls flying around. Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah,
cool. So exciting, man! So if let's start theory crafting some launch dates, right? So it's the 4th of November.
Well, I'm taking vacation Next week. So I would have thought that it would have been that.
If they would have known, we would have had this PTR like 4 weeks ago. They've been waiting.
Well, if we stay consistent, like Blizzard is apparently likes a release on holidays these days. So Thanksgiving weekend?
No, they better fucking not, dude. They better not. So, okay, so 2 weeks of PTR, some downtime. Friday, December 3rd is my guess. No, Friday the 10th. I'm going to give them an extra week. 2 weeks of downtime. Yeah, I'm going to say Friday, December 10th, because the 9th, or because the 12th is my wife's birthday, so it'll make it hard for me to play that weekend. That'll be why they do it. I'm gonna go with 10th.
Yeah, I'm really this will be the first Thanksgiving will be in town since goddamn.
You going to the booze place?
No. No boo. Anyways,
Dude.
Yeah, I think that I have to stay in town. So like we're releasing our big product on December 1st. So like I'm kind of being cucked a little bit by work. Because I was going to motorbike across Colombia at the end of November. Because I haven't done my big motorbike trip. I mean, I did some motorbike trips this year, but it wasn't like my big one. So, Sag, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah. So what's your guess? What do you think? If PTR hits today, what are you thinking for launch date?
2 weeks of this. So we'll go up into the 18th. I mean, I guess first week of December.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Nightmare mode. Okay. If it launches the 10th, that's the same week as Halo Infinite.
Oh no.
Please don't. Please. Why does something always line up with the Diablo season launch day?
I don't know, man.
Nuts.
I don't know. And Lost Ark's delayed now, so we don't know when their thing is. What else could potentially PoE's not going to have one line up. They just have one go, so they're good. That does suck if it launches on Halo weekend. I don't think WoW's got anything coming down the pipe.
I mean, I'm down with Thanksgiving weekend personally.
F you, Fluff.
I fucking hate Thanksgiving so much.
If they do it Thanksgiving weekend,
what do you got going on the 25th? 24th is Thanksgiving, right? Or no, the 25th is Thanksgiving.
The 25th is Thanksgiving. It'd be the next day.
Yeah,
it's like family, like more like I'll do Thanksgiving at my house with my immediate family and a couple family members on the 25th, and then the 26th I'll have to go to another family member's house. I usually have to go to 2 or 3, so it's that sucks, man. They won't. They're not going to do that again. They better not do that again.
Yeah.
It probably makes sense. I don't know. It probably makes sense for a lot of people. A lot of people probably. So Thanksgiving's an American holiday, right? So the whole rest of the world doesn't give a shit. And I would say a lot of people are probably off work, so they might do it, dude.
Maybe.
Might do it. I hope not, but they might do it.
But yeah, that's kind of it on the Diablo front. Big stuff though. Big stuff.
Yeah.
Big juicy stuff.
Pretty cool.
Path of Exile Scourge. It's going pretty good.
Scourge.
I've been thoroughly enjoying the League again, but I'm not sure if it's because of the League mechanic itself. It has been nice. Like they buffed scourging maps, so it's faster to scourge them, and they are rewarding, but you usually want to run like T10 like
what do you mean they buffed
maps?
them so it's faster?
It's so like how they have these bars that fill up.
Mm-hmm.
And they go faster if it's a map.
When you demoed it, looked like it filled up pretty quick before.
You didn't? No, you're thinking of the bar that was for the blood. This bar here for the XP.
Okay, I got you. All right, I'm with you.
But yeah, so people are running like T10 or Scourge T10, but T1, T2 maps because they just like drop good stuff, which is kind of like meh to me. But they're still kind of super deadly after like 30 stacks in high tier like T14 plus maps. So you just kind of like not run the mechanic at a certain point, which I guess has kind of always been the case. Like you wouldn't run a T16 Metamorph and Metamorph League and all that stuff. But Yeah, a little rippy still, in my opinion. And the shot of you actually hitting something on gear that's good, I still haven't seen anyone hit anything good at all. And my best piece is like 8% attack speed on gloves. Like, it's nothing to be like, wow, I'm gonna remember that forever. I get plus 28 max life on my chest. Like, woo. I mean, it just there is some really exciting stuff that you can hit. You can hit keystones on chests, which I think is really, really interesting. So I just think they just needed to up the weight of like hitting the interesting stuff. But yeah, right now, like, scourging items feels like a total waste of time. Like, a lot of people aren't even doing it.
Yeah, just like, pray, close your eyes and pray.
Yeah,
cool. That's good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So is it good enough that you think you're gonna last much longer? Do you still have the desire to play, or is it fading a little bit?
No, I'm still pretty addicted. This character has been like amazing up until about T14. We have like no single target DPS. So killing the Conquerors, killing the Uber, or killing Sirius is going to be really tough. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at that's the other problem. Is like, I'll make an alt that's like a boss killer, but I haven't gotten anything this league. I feel like I've gotten like nothing. So like usually I get like an item. I'm like let's keep that on the side. Like maybe I can make a really interesting, unique build with that. But like this league, I just feel like overall I've gotten like jack shit. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, true.
So, but yeah, that's all that's going on with the Scourge.
Some Lost Ark stuff happened today.
Yeah, so Lost Ark closed beta started. Let's see if there's anyone you can like pull up. Hopefully,
I downloaded it.
Squash Dashmons. He's not gonna care.
Yeah, I downloaded it. I installed it. It was I didn't get to play a lot. I fired it up, so it went live today, and I was like, cool, man. I first I sat there for a second and I'm like, do I want to actually play it? Do I want to jump in and give it a go, or should I just wait to the official release? Ultimately I couldn't wait. I jumped in and I fired it up. The first thing I noticed is that class limitations and subclass limitations were definitely there. There was not near as many choices as there was on the Russian servers that I played on.
And there's still some like sex limitations as well, which I found interesting. You could pick the guy.
I couldn't remember exactly. Yeah. Like I was trying, because it was been probably a year since I played, and I was trying to remember. And so they added. I thought that the gender of the class was locked into the class before.
But they changed it, and when like. I think that they had said at one point that there wasn't going to be gender locks for the NA release.
I don't know, but like definitely like they had specific classes that were locked, but the naming conventions weren't the same as maybe the translations that we got before. So like they called the Berserker Warrior in this one, and like off the bat, like his base class was Warrior, and then the Berserker was a subclass, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they did that before. Maybe it was just a bad translation.
Berserker before.
But so I was like, okay. And then so they called, like, they had a female fighter and a male fighter, but they were different subclasses. And like I was like, oh, that feels
male
different.
only had one subclass and the female had 3.
Yeah. Well, that's just because they limited them though, right? I don't think, I'm pretty sure that they just turned subclasses off. I don't think that was a thing. I could be wrong, but like, so I never played a gunslinger. What do they call it, a gunslinger in this? I can't remember what name they used for the NA version.
Just load it up.
But I had played Berserker, I had played the Sorceress, and I had played the what was the bottom character class called? The demon, like the
demonic
shit. I forgot what the demonic. I played those 3. So the only ones I hadn't played were the monk classes, which I don't really care about, and then the gunslinger one, like the pistols. And I was like, well, I'll try pistols out. I haven't done it. So I looked at them and I'm like, man, I don't know which one looks better. So I ended up choosing the female, the gunslinger, I think is her subclass name. But I thought she had more choices in the Russian one that we played. So we'll have to look it up. So I fired it up, and the intro level wasn't there like I expected it to be. I remember when I played Sorceress, Barb, and the Demon Hunter thing, which I forgot the name of again already. there was like this big intro quest chain thing that we went through, and this one was like told some graphic novel and like a cartoon story thing. And I feel like they cut some of that out as well, so maybe they'll add it back. I don't know, but yeah, I didn't get to play much, man. I had some IRL stuff come up, and I had to walk away. So, but I'm excited to jump in Lost Ark and play a little bit.
Jesus, this thing takes forever to load.
I don't remember it being that long, but yeah.
Hello?
NA problems? No?
It's running. It's just nowhere on my bar. Hello?
Okay. Healer?
Running?
Yeah.
Still running?
So, but yeah, it was I'm excited to jump in and play, man. I wish we had some more details on like the version we're getting and things like that. But if you guys if you haven't played it and you can get access to it, like you could the cheapest, if you didn't get a beta invite, the cheapest way you could get in is pre-order the game. There's a $15 package, like a supporter package that gets you beta access.
You can also order, if you really want to scumbag it up, you can order it and then cancel it. Get a key.
And get your money back. Yeah. So if you haven't played it, play this game. Just play this game and feel the combat. Like the combat feels so amazing. You've heard Fluff and I talk about this shit for 3 years now. It's worth it. It's worth playing. It's worth seeing how it looks.
So this is the part that's interesting to me. So you pick the warrior, you've got the berserker, you've got the gun lancer, which we had on Russia and Korea, but you got the paladin, which we didn't have starting out. Which is
where was the paladin at? Go back to character choices real quick. Where did you get
warrior, and you go to advanced class preview, and you can see what they branch into.
Oh, Pally was a warrior class. Okay, yeah, I didn't even realize.
But
what
we're missing here is the destroyer, which is the big hammer guy.
Yeah, and that's what I assumed that last one was. So I didn't even actually click it. I didn't really look that much.
And the mage goes into Summoner, the bard, which is the same.
I played Summoner. Summoner was super fun.
Yeah.
So was Berserker too, though.
The martial artist female. This is actually super fun as well. I played the blade dancer. I think it's called the war dancer here, maybe. And man, it was actually like my second favorite.
Huh. That's interesting. The fighters didn't look too appealing to me for some reason, but
they're fun.
Yeah, but
yeah, same three options here. But this is the part that I found interesting is that so you've got War Dancer, Scrapper, Soul Fist. You go to the male, which I would think would be the same, but it's the striker. It's like a whole different class.
Yeah, exactly. But they're calling it the same kind of stuff. It's a weird. What they've done with the classes and names is definitely different and weird. So I think they're all going to be there eventually. But
the gunner, male, goes into sharpshooter, which is the bow and arrow guy, which is normal. The dead eye, which is the pistol guy, which is normal, and then the two-hand artillery guy, that's normal. What about the female?
Yeah, this is the one that I chose.
The gunslinger. Isn't that the same as the male?
I don't.
No, it's not. What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird how they broke the classes out.
But that looks like the same class that I played.
Yeah, but yours was a male though. That's the one that you actually played, right? In Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Because you played one of these for a long time.
The dead eye, technically. But I look at the skills and I recognize every single one of those skills that she's casting.
Yeah, I don't know what they did, man. But that's what I chose. I chose that there because that one, it looked fun. And
yeah, she's playing the same class. Why did they call it a different name? It's literally the same class. Deadeye is the same as Gunslinger. It's just a male versus female. 100%. It's got to be. At least the animation. Anyways.
Maybe.
And then the Assassin, which has no male option, which I was really, really hoping for, is the class that I want to do, which is the Shadow Hunter, was called Demonic in the
that's what I played, and it was fun. That was a fun class.
Yeah.
So
that's my class.
In all honesty, of all the I don't know. It's so hard to pick because they were all fun. Honestly, so I played Demonic. It was amazing. I played the Summoner. The Summoner was super fun, and I played the Berserker, and the Berserker was really fun too. I think the Berserker had the most. For me, it had the most rewarding combos. If you could flawlessly execute your timing on the combos with the Berserker, it just felt insanely massive. Like it was
And
hard to get
damn.
a perfect. Yeah, it was crazy. It was so much fun. So
yeah. Berserker is supposed to be one of the easier classes to play too. So if you're new to this style of stuff, you should definitely try out Berserker.
Yep, it was cool. It was a good time.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend, man. Check it out, guys.
Me too.
You know, like even if it's not your art style, if it's you don't like the MMO-ish, this just shows you what ARPGs could do for combat.
Right.
You know.
And I'm like torn because I'm like, I really want to play, but we've got, D3 PTR happening right now. I'm still addicted to the PoE league. I'm still got this phone here I'm supposed to be leveling a necromancer, god damn it. And now I've got this for this week. And it's like, I don't even know if I want to mess with it because one, I don't want to get burned out. I played a ton of Lost Ark, but at the same time, I kind of want to look at my class and be like, okay, well, this is actually what, like, I can actually read the skills that are in English now.
This guy calls dibs on my class already. He's like, my class.
It is literally my class. So there's part of me that wants to do that. Part of me that's like, oh, this is NA for the first time ever. Like, let's finally do some PvP. I never really got to do PvP because the ping was way too bad. And then a part of me is like, well, we'll try out one of these other classes. Martial artist male. Like, sure, maybe that'd be fun. I don't know. Like, maybe we actually learn what the hell's going on with the story because we could never understand a single word that they were saying before. Yeah. Probably not that one of all the things. That guy looks like Bruce Lee, man. What the hell?
He does look like Bruce Lee. What the hell?
Anyways.
Yeah, man, it's interesting. This is a week. We got a lot of stuff. You got D3 PTR, the Lost Arks, the Immortals, PoE. It's crazy. I picked up the Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy game as well.
Why?
I've been playing that.
We just talked about all these games, and you're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy right now.
Yeah,
is it an isometric RPG?
No,
it's not. What are you doing? I don't understand. Why are you doing that?
Because it's good. It's so good. No, it's actually not really that good. It's not bad, but it's not. I wouldn't go waste money on it. So, a lot of juice, man. A lot of juice.
Cool.
You want to jump into some Twitter questions?
That's it. Yeah.
I know. What do you hate? What do you love?
Okay, since we're at the season, and it sounds like I might have to spend it here, I'm going to revisit how much I fucking hate Thanksgiving.
Oh my God.
It's the worst holiday. It's literally just gorge yourself on carbs, watch football, and pass out. It's so American. It makes me want to scream. I hate everything about it. And it's even like the whole reason the holiday started is just like, why are we celebrating this? And then like, it's just the food. The food is the worst part about all of it. Turkey, mashed potatoes, ham.
Those are all amazing
cranberry
things.
Sauce. No, these are all terrible, boring foods.
You don't like mashed potatoes?
I don't like mashed potatoes.
What?
Unless it's like
you don't like
with
turkey?
A steak.
You don't like turkey?
I don't like turkey. No.
You don't like stuffing?
Stuffing's okay. I can get on board with some stuffing
sometimes. You don't like biscuits? Some rolls?
I love rolls. I love bread. I love carbs.
Rolls are amazing.
I mean stuffing and rolls. I'm just loading up on carbs.
Do you like pie?
No.
No pie? No.
Especially
with
not
vanilla ice cream on top?
The Thanksgiving staple. Especially not
pumpkin pie is good too. Yeah, put some cream
nasty.
on top.
Pumpkin pie is nasty.
I don't know, man. So Thanksgiving is I disagree. It's the one day of the year where you're like, I can eat guilt-free, stuff myself, watch other people exert a lot of energy and why I don't have to. It's a good time, dude. Hang out with family. See, maybe that's it. Maybe you just don't like hanging out with your family.
Yeah, that's probably true. Like I'm not a big family-oriented person, so maybe like the value of the holidays goes down for me. I don't know.
Yeah. For my loves this week, I tried the Guardians of the Galaxy game. I bit into the hype. I'm a big Marvel fan. I like the things. It's a really cool story, but the gameplay and graphically beautiful. Gameplay is like pretty bland. Gameplay kind of like action. The combat kind of sucks. And so if you get the game and you're interested in the game, it's just about the story. It's like, think about watching like a 15 to 20 hour movie is kind of what it is, where you're playing along a little bit. So it's okay. That's I haven't had a lot of free time this week, and then honestly I've been like Fluff. I've been split playing Diablo Immortal on the phone that Blizz sent, so I've been doing that a little bit. I'm gonna jump in the Lost Ark beta some.
Oh, that's not even mentioning D2R. If that's your jam, like, Jesus, there's so many RPGs right now.
Oh yeah. You're talking about to jump into? Yeah, for sure. And then I'm interested in the Diablo 4 or the Diablo 3 PTR as well, just so I can get some more juice on the gems, because they didn't go through all the details on the legendary gems in the notes. So I definitely want to go investigate so I have an understanding on how that's going to work. So yeah, man, that's pretty it. But love that. Let's get into some Twitter questions.
Do it.
If you guys want to submit questions to the podcast, you can tweet at Lord__Fluffy or at myself, ThaPChild. Join our Discords. The first question comes from Hex. Hex says, "What is the most traumatizing thing you've ever seen on the internet?"
The internet.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff.
I mean, I've actively avoided stuff that I've heard terrible things about. Like I never saw the girls in the cups. Never saw that. Thank God.
You never saw it?
Nope.
Come on, man.
Nope.
Never?
Never.
Oh, you're missing out.
Dodged. I guess like the worst thing was like meat spin. Like people leaving that up like all the time on people's computers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's scarring. Like I can still, still see a whirlwind in my head.
I don't know if you ever did this to your friends back in the day, but back in the dorm days, we used to go set background, like the wallpaper on Windows. Like we would find bad images and put them as somebody's background on their machine, and they'd get back, and you wouldn't, obviously you wouldn't tell them, and they'd get back and they'd sit down and unlock their computer, and it would just be like the most horrific image that you could imagine. And it was a good time, man. It was a really good time. You're
sick.
Yeah. Or the old Rickrolls that were unclosable. Do you remember like when you used to infinite browser loop and there was no way, like you would have to just power your machine off?
No, I remember that.
Yeah, back in the early web days, you could pull off some pretty nasty Rickrolls. So
interesting.
For me, it was probably Blue Waffles. If you have never seen Blue Waffles, absolutely do not Google Blue Waffles. Just trust me and don't do it. My chat actually talked to me. Well, they didn't talk to me.
That's so vague. It makes you like curious and want to Google
exactly, right? That's what they did to me. They're like, don't look it up. Don't look it up. So of course I didn't do it on stream, but I ended the stream and I looked up Blue Waffles. It don't fucking do it. Just don't do it. Did you just do it?
No. Fuck no. I'm not gonna do that.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I said, I actively avoid stuff. I'd be like, oh my God, you haven't seen it? You gotta watch it. I'm like, no, you just described it as like the most horrific thing you've ever seen. Why would I watch it?
The cups thing was pretty disgusting too, though, man.
That's what I've heard.
That was Well, I can't believe you haven't seen that.
Yeah, dodged.
No. Okay. That's my new thing. I gotta get you to watch the cups.
No.
Yeah. We gotta mask a link to you someday, and it's gonna be the cups, dude. Oh man. ZZ Top 66 says, "What have you not figured out as an adult?"
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this a lot. Like, I feel like whatever that mechanism is that some men have, I think probably most men have, where you're like, you hear a girl just be so fucking irrational, and you're like, oh, it's okay, babe, I'm gonna comfort you, I'm gonna this is gonna be fine. I don't have that. Like, whatever that is, I just don't have it. I'm just like, what the fuck are you on? Like, like, it's so, I don't know. I'm terrible at that. I know I'm terrible at that. Like, having a bad day, like, okay, life's hard, it's tough, like, you'll pull out of it, but like, you want to keep talking about it, you want to, like, yeah, I can't. I just don't. In my head, I'm like, I fucking hate this. I want the world to end right now. Just listening to this. I can't.
But that's irrational in itself, Fluff.
Is that irrational though?
To think you want the world to end? I want the world to end, so she'll shut up.
No, I just want to be out of that conversation. That's a dramatic way of saying that.
Okay, I got you. All right.
Called compassion. Yeah, what is that?
Okay. The next question.
What was yours?
Okay. I still can't tie a tie, man.
What?
I have
really?
I have to look it up. Like I can do it, but I have to look it up every time. Damn. I cannot remember. Like if you were like, P, here's $100 to tie this tie, I could probably get it. But if there was like a time on it, if there's like you have to do it in like 2 minutes, I would fail for sure. Because I'm like, all right, this way and that, and like, yeah, man, I'm always,
damn. Yeah, I
anytime I have an important things to go to, I pre-tie my tie the night before, and then I'll loosen it up because that way I have time to get it right, and then I'll loosen it up and slip it off.
Why don't you just get a clip on at that point?
No, because it's not the same, man. I can get it, just I can't remember. I just can never remember. I have to look up YouTube video.
That's adorable.
That's horrible, right? That's my thing. Disabled Robot says, what was the first PC game you remember playing? PC. He put PC in quotes. PC game.
Yeah. That's a great question. Because like technically it would be Diablo 2 for me, but that was on a PC technically. That was on a Mac. So the first time I finally invested in a computer, because I was a console Andy, was for Star Wars Galaxies.
Star Wars Galaxies, huh? I had a buddy that had a PC and he had Doom. I'm trying to think if that was in school we played what was the old Frontier game where you had to like travel across the United States and not die, and like your family would all what was that shit called? Oregon Trail, right?
Yeah.
Oregon Trail, yeah. So Oregon Trail probably, if we're counting school, but I would my buddy had Doom. I would say to answer the question honestly, I'll say like what is my first PC game that I played on my own PC?
Yeah.
Man,
this isn't a very vivid memory for you. Like you probably bought a computer to play this game. Probably.
I don't know.
You didn't just buy a computer for the sake of buying a computer. You're like, I have to play this game.
So we had a family computer, and I remember trying to play the Star Wars. What was the 1999 Episode 1 Star Wars Episode 1 PC game they made?
No idea.
Right, but most people probably had never even played it. And I tried to play it on my family PC, and it wouldn't work. And so then I like bought a graphics card and installed a graphics card. Like that's how I learned to install a graphics card, was from that to play that game. So probably that one, which was 99, I guess 2000. So
okay,
I don't know. Honestly, but Doom, I remember playing Doom on my buddy's PC quite a bit, and that was a good time. So. Dirty Nap says, what TV show is the most overrated? Speaking of TV shows, you been watching The Challenge, dude?
I haven't seen today's, but or yesterday's technically.
Yeah, I watched yesterday's.
I don't have cable, so I catch it a day later on Amazon.
Man, I want to talk about that sometime with you.
Okay.
Some shit happened.
Oh shit.
And I'm not happy about it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Fluff and I are Challenge junkies, if you guys don't know.
It's only trash.
What TV show is the most overrated?
Yeah, I got
Game
this
of
one.
Thrones. I think Game of Thrones is so good, dude.
No, Game of Thrones is not overrated. I'll tell you what is like all these cringe comedies, like Big Bang Theory. I think Big Bang Theory is probably maybe the worst show I've ever seen, and people love that shit. Yeah. Gosh, what else?
Is that the one with Blossom?
Always Sunny? It's Always Sunny. I don't think it's that funny.
Yeah, I don't really get into those either.
Yeah, that's the one with Blossom.
There's no network television TV show that I'm into that like it was Friends and Seinfeld were so fucking good. And then what?
Friends.
What else? What else after that?
Friends was the last graded scripted comedy.
That's what I'm saying.
Time.
Seinfeld was better than Friends.
No.
Friends was second to me.
Disagree.
And then Everybody Loves Raymond is actually funny. Like, I never ever go out of my way to watch it, but if you sit down and watch an episode, it'll make me laugh a little bit. So that's it, man. Today there's nothing on. But to answer the question, what's the most overrated TV show? Fucking Entourage, dude. Entourage was garbage. I don't care what people say. And people love that show. Maybe I didn't give it enough episodes. I don't know. I watched a couple. I was like, I don't get it. Why people like it.
Yeah, I feel confident with my Big Bang Theory answer.
Yeah. So, like, people are already gonna blast me about Entourage. I guarantee it. And it's like, it's not. It wasn't that good. Coda says, if you could get a new tattoo for free, what would you get and where would you get it?
You know, like a couple years ago, this has been like, Jigglypuff. For sure.
Jigglypuff. Wait, what?
Yeah. So me and my friends were always going to get like a Jigglypuff tattoo.
Hold on. I got to look this up. What's a Jigglypuff?
You know what Jigglypuff is? Pokemon 38, bro.
Okay. I mean, I'm not that into Pokemon, but okay. I just Googled it.
Jigglypuff
I know who he is.
Hilarious.
Okay.
Because he puts people to sleep and he like marks on their face. It's like what you do to your friends when they get too drunk.
Okay. I didn't know he does that. I guess. Yeah. Context.
So we were always going to do that, where I was going to get like our own custom Jigglypuff on our butts, like on one of our cheeks. But I'm not really friends with those guys anymore, so I wouldn't do that. I don't really know what I would do. I gotta imagine that if and when Herbert dies, I'm probably gonna want to get something for Herbert for sure.
Okay,
because he's literally my child.
Big H.
I don't know what I'd get.
Get a good picture. Get a good picture
now,
and then you could get his face, dude. That'd be legit.
Right now, when that happens, there's not gonna be a podcast for like months. I don't even know what I'm gonna do.
You gonna cry?
I don't know what's gonna happen. I really don't.
Will the uncryable cry? Will the desert shed a tear?
I have no idea. It's gonna be tough, man. No. It's gonna be really tough.
Yeah. So I don't have any tattoos. I don't know if I would actually get a tattoo, to be honest with you. There's been many times in my life where I've thought it would be cool to get one, but then I always stop and I'm like, man, do I, like 20 years from now, am I going to be like, yo, I'm really glad I got that tattoo? I'm like, I don't know. So that's always prevented me from doing it. But if I did get one, it would probably be on the same lines as your Herbert tattoo. It'd be something with my kids, but I wouldn't want to get like faces or names. I think that's kind of lame. It'd have to be something cooler than that. It'd have to be like, I don't know. Angelina Jolie's like really whacked out, but she's got a tattoo of like the longitude and latitude where all of her kids were born tattooed on her arm or some shit. Cool. And like, it's kind of ugly looking tattoo, but it's like, oh, it's interesting. At least it's unique, right? It's just a weird thing. So, I don't know, something along those lines. But do you ever watch Impractical Jokers?
I do. I have.
Okay, that show's pretty funny. I'm a big fan. They had an episode where the losers all had to get tattoos that were picked out by the winner. So there's four guys in the show.
That's awful.
The winner picked, and he made the 3 losers get these tattoos, and they were fucking horrible tattoos. One of them was like, I'm 39, single, and live with my mom, or some shit. One of them was like Will Smith's kid. What was Jaden Smith? There's like Jaden Smith tattoo, this big ass Jaden Smith on his leg, and like something, I don't even remember the last one. But these were horrible. And like when the guys saw what he picked out for him, like they were pissed. Like all right. So would you ever take a scenario bet where it's like, all right, if I win, I get to pick a tattoo for you, and if you win, you picked one for me?
I think that, I don't know. I think if I was close enough friends with the person, I don't think we'd want it to not be great, but we wouldn't want it to like ruin your life.
Yeah. Well, like it's got to be somewhere you can cover up, right? It'd have to be like, so they had MTV made a show about this. It was called like Revenge Tattoo or something. I don't know if you ever saw it or heard of it. It was brutal, man. Like this one, they would get X's, and the X's get to pick a tattoo for the other people. And so like this one dude cheated on the girl, and like I don't know why you would go on the show because you know she's gonna give you the worst shit ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so she got a tattoo that was like around his belly button, and it was like made fun of the size of his manhood and said that he was like a deadbeat dad or some shit. And I'm just like, Jesus, man, it was ridiculous. So it was a good.
What a great show.
Yeah, it's an interesting dude. You watched it though, because you're like, "Ooh, what's this? Like, what is she gonna do to him? What's he gonna do to her?" You know, it was bad,
horrible.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I would get one, to be honest. But it'd be some of my kids. The last question we get comes from Norano, and he said, "You get $1 million, but you lose one of your senses. Which sense are you going to lose?" So. Your senses are what? Sight, smell, taste,
hearing.
What else? Sight, smell, taste, hearing,
touch.
Is touch one? Is there 5? So is there just 5? Oh, we gotta Google the senses. Feel like what? Okay.
Yeah. Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Because touch is like, that's everything. So like, yeah, that would be no good.
So you'd have no feeling, but you could still taste stuff though. But could you tell it was in your mouth to chew it up? You know?
Yeah. Oh. Touch is off the table. Because that's like everything.
Sight's off the table too.
Yeah, for sure. Sight and sound
can't lose
and
sight.
touch, no way. It's either smell or taste. But the thing is, like, smell could get you in trouble. Like, you could actually get yourself, like, in dangerous situations. Taste, like, I would tell you right now, I would have immediately said taste. But then I met a guy who got the flu and he lost his taste. Like, he can never taste again. And so I was like, oh, that'd be awesome because, like, you're going to eat super healthy. But it's like, no, like, because now it's like, I crave the foods where I can feel the consistency is, like, sweet. And that, like, gives me that sweet tooth feeling, and I finally eat more unhealthy. I was like, wow, that's fucking crazy.
Really? Man, it's gotta be. If you lost smell, you'd lose taste it too, though. Like it affects it. From what I understand. Smell, I guess, because like right now I don't smell anything and I feel fine. So like if I just didn't smell stuff anymore, I guess. You know. I couldn't. You can't lose hearing, sight. You can't lose your hearing or your sight at all. Like those are 2 no-nos. Yeah, I guess I would go smell.
I think I'd go smell too.
But okay, all right. So would you trade your sense of smell for $1 million? $1
million for my sense? One of my 5 senses? Fuck no.
Yeah, I don't think I would either. What about $1 billion?
Yeah.
He said that was so fast.
Yeah.
He didn't even think about it. He's like, $1 billion? Yeah. There was no hesitation. I believe that.
Yep. Take my smell.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably would too. I don't know, man.
$1 billion.
$1 billion. Yeah, what would you do with $1 billion?
So many things.
All the things. But you would never smell again, though.
True, but
what about if you went on a date and she was stinky?
Then it was meant to be because I don't know how to taste the smell.
But you could taste.
Listen, chill out. Let's keep this podcast G-rated. Please.
No, I'm saying the food on the date, sir. The food on the date.
Hey,
just you'd be like, "Oh shit, what did I get myself into? I have the flu." So, all right, man. That's it for episode number 166.
166, easy.
We won't catch you guys next week for 167. We'll catch you
Puerto Rico
in 2 weeks. So just to confirm, you'll be back for the 18th.
18th, correct.
Okay. We'll see you guys on the 18th for episode 167.
Yeah. Peace out, dudes.